believe we are going. I had some technical things going on. Apologies for the delay. But good changes to the setup here. And I'll just get a couple things set up. Well, thank you for being here. Basically today what I'd like to do is go over what I did yesterday. LB welcomes you as well. And we're going to go over what we did with CapCut and a couple things that I learned. I can't go a single day without botching something, so I'll go over that as well. And you'll see me looking down here a little bit more because I've got an addition to my setup I'll go into maybe some other time, but for now I need to see if I can log in so I can chat with anybody that pops up. One thing I'm learning right now is that if you don't, you try to launch from a site, account that just is managing your YouTube account, apparently you can't live stream it. So we'll do this, and I don't know if anyone's jumped in yet. You also notice that the thumbnail was well, let's see. Well, I may not be able to chat with y'all here. We've got studio up. Well, it's saying that we are in the chat, it looks like. Let's check it out. We're on this. We don't have permission. This is what I'm reading here. We are in the Wunderwoods. Well, I'll have to tweak with this a little bit later. If we are actually live, let's double check that. Okay, so we're going. Anyway, what I'd like to go over today is what I did yesterday with CapCut. And you can't see my screen down here, but it should be all good. I'll just get rid of this dock down here. So there we go. Now I can see just the chat if anybody happens to jump in and has any questions. But let's go right into what we're working on here. So basically, this is a short that I made yesterday, and those are all captions. This is the last little bit here. Couple things that I learned were a few keyboard shortcuts that I'll go over, and I can't go a single day without botching something, so I'll go over that as well. Not the end of the world, but the final result wasn't what initially we had spent, I don't know how many hours during the grind. So basically, yeah, we're going over the off-air grind. So these office hours will be for anyone who wants to jump in 4:30 every single day, and afterward I will either take care of other responsibilities that I have or jump right into the grind. But this is to just show consistency and also show kind of the game plan as we build this channel. And yeah, let's go over a couple of different things that I learned that if you are not new to CapCut, this probably is going to be less value added, but if you are learning along with me, then you might find something useful. So the first thing, I'm going to kind of start in reverse and go backward. The first thing is that you see here, this is grayed out. What that means is it is set to export just this section. So for example, if I wanted to, for some reason, export just this intro for whatever reason, you go to where you want it to punch in. That's more of a music thing there, but you want to punch in here, you hit I, and that's your export in point. Then you find the exact frame you want to end on, and you hit O for your export out frame. Then you would just go up here to export. You can't see any of this. There we go. Alright, so prior to this it was showing like this. Something along this line. So this is what it would be exporting if we hit, this is what it would be exporting if we hit export up here. So thank you. Good morning. Now we're good to go. So basically, yeah, to recap, I'm going to go over a couple of keyboard shortcuts, a couple of things that I learned while editing a short yesterday in CapCut. And like I was saying, always have to have a good botch, and I'll go over that briefly. And other than that, couple other things I'd like to talk about are unleaking captions and then also Keyframe Zoom. Again, if you're not new to this, then it might be, might be review, or you might just click off. That's fine too. I'm going to just be reviewing what I did the previous day, and today we are going to go right up to an hour, so let's jump right in. So, catch it back up. Say I wanted to export this area here. I'd find my exact frame that I wanted the export to start, hit I. That'll give you this. It'll tell you here, select endpoint, and then you select your out frame, and it'll redo that. Then you just go up to export. Blah, blah, and you would hit export. Make sure all your settings are here. This looks about right. 4K, we're not in 4K, but it never hurts to bump it up for YouTube. That will also 16 megabytes versus if we go 1080p, about 7 megabytes. So doubling it there just about. We'll cancel that for now. So couple things to go over which are pretty excellent. One thing is I'm pulling up Notion here just so I can get organized. One thing we're going to talk about is captions. And a really cool feature with CapCut is that you can select a piece here. Let's get our IO back over here. And I'm not sure. Let's try it. So you can't just remove that. I suppose you could just go all the way to the back if that bugs you that it's showing that little grayed area. Say we're working with this raw video here. This should be free. You can click transcript. And now it will give you your transcript here. And say you've got something that bugs you. We don't like that I say all right. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be one of the fastest streams ever. There's probably a record out there, but basically, so say we don't like that. It's actually editing down here as well. So if we go back, we've got our initial. All right, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be one of the fastest streams ever. Good morning. We were just going over CapCut and what I did yesterday. So once you right click and click transcript, then you can go through. We don't like the all right, that's unnecessary filler. It highlights it down here. Just delete it up in your text. One of the fastest streams ever. And then we'll just delete all of these. Let's see what that sounds like. Another quick keyboard shortcut, I think this is pretty standard with video editing software, is JKL. Jay's going to let you scrub back. And if you hit it more, it'll go faster. K, I believe, stops it, and then L is going to be your forward play. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be one of the fastest streams ever. Another little bump clip there. You can just go down here, backspace delete. Fastest streams ever. 02, which was pretty much botched, but you can always learn something from things that get messed up. So 02, I think I was talking about OH002. We don't need any of that. So now see, it's just clipping it. That's a very fast way to edit on the fly. So what we ran into is a file. Do we need that throat clear? No, we don't. So what we ran into is a file destination situation where we could not find another little throat clear. I think it was early in the morning where we could not find the file because 2-second delay there. The file because I had changed it up. So okay. So then that's just a brief overview of how to quickly edit using the transcript function, which is excellent. Now, to the actual short that I made. Couple things I want to go over here. One, a lot of shorts just slam right into it. And basically I did a half second. Oh, another quick little shortcut is, let's get a little more real estate. Holding control, scroll wheel, we'll zoom in. So I did 10 frame intro and a quick little fade of 0.3 seconds. So what we're going to, not much, but it does, what we're going to change it up just a little bit. And I guess I'll go into what I just botched. Oh. CapCut. When I originally did this, bring up my videos here real quick. I edited all of this. What we're going to do is go into OBS. Oh, I apologize. I should let you know It's got a little bit of a slap there. I originally edited in 16 by 9. Well, on YouTube, TikTok, you need to have 9 by 16. So this is the original. I will warn you right away, when it cuts to LB, it does slap. So check your volume. But this is the original. What we're going to do is go into OBS.
But bastards on the flame, beautiful and broken, never quite the same. But bastards stake your claim, rising from the ashes of the dead. But bastards.
Right, pretty insane. And 25 seconds, I think. Well, I went to export and I was in the process of uploading and I realized that it is not going to show as a short. It's going to show as a 25-second regular video. So if you want to change it, you go to here, click that, and then you can change your aspect ratio here. So we were on 16 by 9 or original, and what we want to do is be on 9 by 16 for shorts. And so again, the idea with how we're going to build this channel is to create these long form reviews of what I grinded on the day before, or just take open questions, things that come up, and then go back through, cut out some shorts, and then if we have enough material to make a 10-minute tutorial on something specific, that's where we're going to get our sort of medium length polished videos that I'll spend a bit more time on. This channel is still very new, and like I said, I'm new to CapCut, new to OBS, as you can tell from me covering up my screen for half the time. But so yeah, we want 16 by 9. Now what that does is it creates different cropping issues. What we're going to do is go into OBS.
But bastards on the flame, beautiful and broken, never quite the same. But bastards stay.
So that took maybe another 10 minutes. It's a lot more condensed. It doesn't have a lot of the interestingness, showing exactly where the setting menu is and all that kind of stuff. But it's good for a first short. And when I was doing this, one thing you'll notice when you start dropping captions, by the way, another feature that it's got is generate captions. So let's just, I don't know what I did there. Let's get to the end. Let's drop this back in here. That's our original video. And just so we're not taking up too much time, see if we can slice this. That's Control B to break. And then we got a little bit of audio here. Right click, generate captions. There we go. So when you're up here, this box will be checked. At the top right, apply to all main captions. So we can try to simulate how it initially was set. So we've got all right, which is not to be seen. Oh, this is something that I ran into a lot. Your cursor, this is another silly thing. So let's switch back to 9 by 16. So your cursor shows what's live. I did that so many times yesterday where I'm like, where did it go? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we've got all right, welcome here. And I say I want this at the top. You move it up here. Well, when you go over to here, this is also going to be at the top. Same deal if you go here and you want to, I don't know, make it mellow. And you want to make it yellow, mellow yellow. And you make it gigantic, right? When you do that, it's going to change it Apparently not the font, but the idea is that it's moving around everywhere. Uncheck this, then when you move it, it's going to independently move everything. So it should be unchecked for all of them now. So now if you want to do some kind of crazy mix up where this one you want to be another font, or you want to rotate it, then all of your other ones are going to be original. Now if you want to globally change everything for speed, then you would highlight those, or I'm not sure quite yet if you need to highlight them. But yeah, that's that there. And then you'll also notice in this section, let me turn this down. The zoom here, I don't know if everybody's familiar with keyframes, but you'll notice these two little diamonds here. So what that is, if you click on it, it'll highlight it. And up here in video, you have to select these for keyframes. So two things that we wanted to manipulate were the scale. So we wanted to zoom in on LB, final scale 2500%, and then you'll see that our position, our Y and X axis changed as well. So what you do is you have your original, and you're basically locking that frame to where you want it to be. I think we also used one at the beginning to kind of emphasize LB. What we're going to do is go into OBS. Just a slight right to left pan that most people probably didn't notice, but the idea being like a reveal of LB and people thinking, what the hell is that? So then we jump in with the slap. Back to here, we have that, we have this one. Now we didn't land right at the end. We didn't want it panning or zooming all at the same time. We wanted it to end on a certain beat to kind of pause the video right before we hit our last freeze frame of a still that I took. When the video is playing, video sound is loud. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. I don't know if you've seen that TikTok challenge or whatever it is. It's more of a jump scare thing where they play James Brown, I Feel Good, and then people, you know, like throw their phone. Yeah, what they're doing is basically coming in. This is your volume here at the bottom. We'll keep ours at -12 because that is already a -10 luff master that we did before. If you remember, talk about luffs yesterday.
Bastard, stake your claim, rising from the ashes of the divine bastard.
So again, we wanted to land the zoom. I'm not sure why I decided to do that, but that's what we did. So that is that. I believe that's everything. We did caption unlink. We also did keyframe zoom. And then, yeah, the fatal flaw, the 16:9 that I edited originally. And basically, again, to recap, you've got your ratio settings here. So, other than that, did that help everyone? Did anybody have any questions on any of that? Sweet. All right, well, the only other thing I was working on, and we've got about 33 minutes left, is I wanted to check out flow. Let's make sure this is all good. If you don't know what flow is, it's also connected with Google, and basically you can do all sorts of things. Text to video, image to video. We'll just do backdrops and so what I'd like to do is let's update our backdrop, and we're going to be looking for something. Let's go inside because I think it's time to mix up. I love the forest. We'll be bringing it back, but let's mix it up to inside the Wunderwood factory. Due to my backdrop lighting, we'll want one that comes from the top left, a source light. When you're actually viewing, it's going to be from the top right. Please generate the prompt for flow. And we'll see what that does. Create an image, Nano Banana Pro. If you haven't used that, it's excellent. I, a lot of times, will just generate 4 of them. 0 credits for images on the Pro subscription. So we're going to create an image. You could also do text to video, frames to video if you're trying to do something that you need a little bit of continuity. And, okay. It's kind of interesting. It went ahead and just generated an image. I'll show you that in a second. That's awesome, but I wanted prompt for flow. Let me bring that one up. That's actually not bad. That's what it came up with. It's got our little LB, makeshift pixelated. I mean, hell, I don't mind it. I do mind that. I don't think there's any way to crop that out. Gonna work on Cakewalk. I don't know if I installed, so I had a little bit of an upgrade. I don't. You like this image? Let's see if we can. I doubt Canva's gonna let us do that in the free version. Get rid of this, but we could always either crop it out. I like this framing though. Let's see what we can do. I'm also not super familiar with Windows 11. There we go. We'll save as a copy. Let's do Wunderwoods folder. We'll call it thumbnails. In the factory. I mean, that does kind of work. It's got our magical blurred one here, and let's go over to YouTube. We're in the Wunderwoods. Not able to follow sonar in next. Gotcha. So yeah, I will double check to see if I've got... So what I'm doing down here is going to the Cakewalk Product Center. And we do have next. I'll install that in the background. Alright, that's going. We can definitely check that out. What I'll need to do is... Okay, so by default it will just probably update your live stream as you're working, or just grab a random thumbnail. But let's go ahead and edit. Thumbnail. Videos. Whoops. I'm not a big fan of that because it doesn't say live, or it doesn't say, you know, what we are actually working on. So let's see if we can pull up this. And we'll go over here, grab our pictures, thumbnails. Let's drop that in, frame it up. LB in the silent bard. Pretty good. Let's make live a little bit. If we want to go aggressive with it, that does look better. CapCut shortcuts. And honestly, let's do this. Then we can just kind of build this up a little bit. And let's line it up here. Look good to you? At 10 times faster, fix the 9x16 fail, and then we actually have to have something behind the blur. I have some notes yesterday that I basically, at the end of my day, what I'm going to be doing is reviewing and preparing for showing what we did during the grind. And okay, I found it here. So basically, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but shorts are going to be one of the best things you can do to get sort of an advertisement style thing out there. And I made one short from the first 30 seconds, maybe minute of the video that we did way back when. I think it was 003 when we were fixing the OBS Studio so that it records. It saves your file as you're recording a live stream. That's what that little short, that insane thing at the beginning was. But one other thing that we're doing with this channel is we're also producing music and distributing it through BandLab. So by doing that, you can use your own music on your shorts, that if someone else uses it, then you make revenue. I believe TikTok is the best one for that. And so the problem that other creators, they lose 50% to 66% of their ad revenue on shorts when they use licensed music. So the secret is, because you're using your own music, in our case we're using the Wunderwood originals, or partnering with other people for request quests, as they drop those and distributing through BandLab. So this doesn't claim the audio by default. The music registers as original audio. So what is the point of all that? Well, the payoff is this allows the factory, this channel, to bypass the music tax and keep 100% of the ad revenue share, creating massive competitive advantage. So this is the most potent financial leverage that you could probably have, and it's also the single best curiosity hook for your thumbnails if you decide to make your own music. So I feel like an hour just isn't enough time, is it? But that's the idea. We'll come back through. If I don't have anything that I've really done a grind on that I'd like to review, I'll jump in. I've got next on the list, and I may even jump in there at some point today to work on our next master, because I don't want to fall behind on that. We're looking to get those out as fast as we can produce them, because BandLab is one of the fastest, but it still takes 4 or 5 days for it to approve your recording and then begin distributing it out to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. So that being said, that is pretty much it. Oh, we have not updated this. So CapCut, OH005, live, agenda, fix the fail, and then the last one is our licensed music ad revenue share. So we'll share this, download JPEG, downloading now. Call this one OH005. CapCut shortcuts. That naming really is just for you. Let me see if I can get back to YouTube, and let's change this. Well, show you what I'm doing. Basically, it's in my downloads. Just going to drop it in here, and then we'll drop it into thumbnails. So now we've got our OH005. We know exactly which video it's going to go to. And I'm typing in my request to Gemini over here on the side. But like I mentioned the other day, if you have a microphone, which most people do these days, Windows H will allow you to just speak into anywhere where you've got a text input. Click on it, Windows H, and then you can just freely speak. That's a lot more of an efficient way to get your thoughts out. And even if it grabs the wrong word or something like that, mine tends to blur out a lot of my words with the the multiple asterisks, like I've got a potty mouth. But yeah, this is that's a really fast way to do this. So basically, it's generated that. I'm doing this quickly. I highly recommend going through and reading this. Double check for things like hats the next step, subscribe, notifications. I also recommend at the top here sending them to what you want to happen, whether it's to sign up for your newsletter, go to another video. In our case, as we get finalized on the request quest documentation, we'll have people go there to drop their own requests for just random thoughts that they have, that they're thinking, oh, Wunderwoods, go make this. And we'll write the lyrics, produce the music, and distribute it through BandLabs. So in this case, I don't know, what do you think we should link people to. Maybe our short. We could always do that just as a quick little link. We've got our short that we published yesterday. Shareable link. And there you have it. Oh, this is an interesting... If you've ever heard of the Teach One principle, I'm getting some more information on it now. But basically the phrase goes, see one, do one, teach one. And this methodology proves that the fastest way to master any skill is to teach it. And I've done some teaching in my background, and really when I'm explaining something like music theory or anything like that to someone who may not know anything about it, when I'm doing that, I'm actually learning more because you're basically breaking it down to its molecules and re-understanding it yourself as you're teaching someone who may not know anything about it. So the things that I was struggling with last night, finally solving to the best of my abilities, the speed problems that we all face was the main one, especially if you're going to be producing a lot of material. So let's see, this is an overview. I think we pretty much have it there. So today's mission, 10x workflow, Botch Report, unfair advantage, visuals, and those all look pretty good. Playlist, let's call it office hours. And as you keep doing things, if you're organized while you're creating things, then streamlining your workflow is going to be a lot faster. We could put in chapters if it can figure that out. That's another thing that on my weekly checklist, really should be daily, is going back through and putting in chapters with timestamps. The system will recognize that and put those little dots in at the bottom so people can say, I don't really care about his rambling and fumbling around. We're going to keep those for the long form so that people can see the process of me learning all these new programs that I've never used, and also see the progress. If you put in the time and you keep grinding on it, then eventually you will become at least a novice at it, or a what's the step up from a novice? Intermediate. And hopefully one day, if you keep at it, you'll become advanced or even an expert. So we don't have any places, concepts, I suppose. And then hashtags, again, I've heard don't really matter. What I'm doing is dropping these into Gemini right now, and I'm saying separate by commas, please. Because if you just copy this over, I'll show you, it'll give you just one giant hashtag, which is not what we want. And yeah, rows I am going to install next, and we definitely can do some of these in Next. From what I understand, Next looks great. It's BandLab's Cakewalk, whatever their main company is. It is their free version of a DAW, digital audio workstation, and it should have all the same functionality of, let's see if this works. It's putting our no, actually that's right. Let's go ahead with that. United States, go English here, no location, Allow embedding if somebody wants to embed this. Science and tech. We are a music channel, but we're also teaching science and technology because we're going into these programs. Moderation none. We'll keep it open until people make us close it. Comments on, anybody can. Show how many viewers, why not? See what people actually think about this. So, last thing we need is a title. We'll let that generate. Again, I recommend using any sort of automation that you can, because one of the biggest motivation killers for me personally, but I think for most people, it is filling all of this out. You always want to skim through at the very least, or even have a basic process once a day, once every other day. I don't recommend once a week for things like this because it's the first thing that people are going to see. But that should be updated. Let's check it out. Changes saved. There we go. And now we've got our live button. It's obviously showing live here as well. CapCut, and then if they do scroll by, I'm not sure. What that would look like on the actual feed. It's going to be a little bit bigger, so you might be able to see the agenda. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead and see if we've got next up, and we'll take a look at it in the last 11 minutes that we've got. Release notes. Show you what I'm doing. So this is the basic landing page. Okay, so you can start with a simple 4-track. That was actually the first thing I ever recorded on, was a Tascam 4-track. 16-track band recording will probably give you, yep, vocals, guitars, bass already built in. Various instruments ready to play. My keyboard is over there that you can't see. Gonna have to figure out how to get that, or get a little small one over here so we can actually make some noise on this channel. Show some real-time music production. But it already loads us up with one. I don't have any. Well, let's see what it can scan. I am literally learning this with you. Alright, so I'm guessing it should have a console view. I hope it would. Interesting. How do we add effects? Alright, well, I'll have to play around with this, and I'll get back to you on what I learn. I don't know, let's drop some. Do we have any audio? Oh, it can automatically guess your tempo. Let's see if it didn't change anything. But yeah, if you are dropping in something like a thing you recorded on your phone or something like that, then a lot of these do have a tempo identifier. So this one, I'm going to attempt to find, now a lot of these would show your volume and everything. I'm not seeing that here. Oh, okay. We know this is a loud track, so. And I'm not seeing anything for, whoops. That's your monitor button. There have got to be ways to add in effects. Possibly not. Loop shorts, inspect. Interesting. All right. Well, yeah, this is, I mean, it's a free program, but looks like if you sign in, you can get some free sounds with membership. They all want a membership. Yeah, so I'll respond to Rose if she's still in here, or she'll see it later. Transport, loop selection. It's bugging me. It scanned for plugins, but it's not. Let's see if we can insert a bus. Can we add? Oh, okay. Track plugins. So now this is already the mastered version, but I don't know. Let's say we wanted to get weird with it. Bit Crusher. Let's do 8-bit. Can you change this? Let's add another one just for buzz face. There we go. I'm not hearing it, are you? That's because we're on the bus and we're not sending to it. Let's add it to this one then. I prefer to send to buses when I have effects, especially things like reverb and things like that, but that makes sense why we weren't hearing anything. Cool. Does that give a basic overview? I don't know if Rose is in here still, but she was the one asking about this. Or I suppose the open question would be to anybody in the chat, what do you need to know on Next, which again is the same company as Sonar. It is their free version that is pretty cool, actually, just from looking at this for the first time. Or I think I had opened it up before, but I hadn't really played around with it, as you can tell. A lot of times they'll have all of your ins and outs here, so it'll say something like, you know, send to bus, and then the bus should have something. What I'm used to is a mixer down here or a console. Automation lanes. If you're not familiar with automation, this is where you can add in some nodes and say you want to automate the volume. So what this is going to do is take your slider and virtually move it as you go. So if you wanted to do that bit rate, a lot of times these will, oh, here you go, bit crusher. And let's go intensity. See what that does. I'm not hearing it. Need to do more research. Hey, same here. Yeah, again, I say utilize the robots. YouTube is excellent for learning things. That's what we're trying to make our content part of it. Most of what we're doing is the Request Quest and the Wunderwoods originals as a way to have YouTube act as another marketing arm. But then again, once you distribute, all of these go out to TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music is growing as well. So I think that that is a pretty good place to wrap up. This is going to be a short one, like I said, because I have other obligations today. So the game plan is to grind a little bit. If I can jump in here, get all of my plugins installed onto this one, what I will do... You're welcome. When I get the plugins installed here, we can play around with the waves, but there should be the Cakewalk plugins that have your compressor, your boost. I don't know if that's going to be your final limiter. Remember from yesterday, that's the one that we use, the L2 maximizer. But you've got delay, EQ, multiband compressor. That's going to be what you're going to use if you already have a stereo track that you want to master. Core reverb, again, that's what I would prefer to send as a bus. And don't worry if you're not super familiar with buses, but the idea is that if this were an instrument like a guitar, you would send the signal to the bus, and then you should be able to control the amount that you send. So you don't want to just wash out a vocal or a guitar unless you're going for some sort of a special effect. But whoops. So yeah, I will look into this a little bit more, and maybe even later today I will master one of ours, because we have several in the pipeline, and some request quests as well. So I think that is going to be it. And then tomorrow I'll do a quick recap of what, if anything, I learned. I usually do learn something. I usually botch at least one thing, and I think it's important to throw those in as well and not really cover up the blemishes. So with that being said, thank you for popping in. If you're catching this later and you made it to this point, you deserve an award, because yes, that's the whole point of these office hours, is to sort of hash things out, figure things out in real time, to show the realistic nature of what it's going to take to get a channel from zero, with no recognition or anything like that, up to your target, whatever that target is. If you want 100 subscribers from your local community that talk about landscaping or something like that, if that's your target, then I think showing people the process of what you're doing is really, really important. And you also learn by teaching. Back to that concept, and I'll probably be hammering this in over the next weeks, months, years, however long I'm still alive, is see one, do one, teach one. All right, thanks again, and have a great day.